On the broadcast tonight, a statement from the Inspector General of Police, Joseph Boynet, that militant group Al-Shabaab are split into two, with one splinter group supporting ISIS and the other supporting Al-Qaeda, ostensibly competing to support the two groups' international jihadist agenda. Boynet also urging Kenyans to be extra vigilant. Good evening from the KTN News Center. I am Ben Kitili. KTN Prime begins now. The top stories tonight.
Because also of their own ideological differences, there are those who think ISIS is good.
Inspector General of Police warns that Al-Shabaab has split into two and has become even more lethal.
Nimekuja Mombasa kuenjoy kwa sababu najua tarehe 25 nitakuwa kazini.
And families throng to holiday destinations to celebrate Christmas.
Fare-paying passengers should only use PSV vehicles and not otherwise.
Crackdown continues on personal vehicles turned into illegal public transport vehicles.
Ukienda huku machungani ni vijana tuko huko tudogo tunachunga na hawana morali ya masomo.
And who will speak for the boy child? Welcome to the program. Inspector General of Police Joseph Boynet is cautioning Kenyans over imminent Al-Shabaab attacks. Boynet says the group has now split into two, one supporting ISIS and the other supporting Al-Qaeda. Boynet says this has made the terror group even more lethal.
It is indeed true that following pressure from AMISOM inside Somalia and the difficulty in infiltrating our country, so they feel boxed in the middle, and having been boxed in the middle, they split. And because also of their own ideological differences, there are those who think ISIS is good, others think Al-Qaeda is good, others follow Somali politics on clan lines. So we know for a fact that it is indeed true, it has split. And as a result of being split, particularly those ones along ideological lines, or religious lines, so to speak, are very keen to promote that competition by proving a point. And they plan to prove a point by staging attacks. That we know. That makes us in real and present danger of being hit by those murderous elements in their bid to prove a point. And that's why it is absolutely important that we do not drop our guard. We remain watchful and vigilant at all times.
It is the festive season, the season that many Kenyans flock to the coast with family and friends. It's not just the lure of sumptuous coastal cuisine and the pristine sandy beaches, but also the attraction of accommodation offers from domestic tourists. KTN's coast reporter Francis Ontomo now explains.
It's that time of the year when Mombasa comes to life in a big way. Families congregate in the coastal city in numbers to enjoy the festivities, everyone choosing to let loose and forget about the usual hassles and bustles. And just like how it has been traditionally, the coastal beaches play a favorite destination for many, both young and old finding time to relax and bond.
Nimefurahi sana kwa Mombasa. Tumekuja kusherehekea Christmas. Na pia my in-laws wako hapa, so tulikuja kujoin kupatana na familia na pia kusherehekea tukiwa huko pwani.
Nimekuja Mombasa kuenjoy kwa sababu najua tarehe 25 nitakuwa kazini, lakini nimeona nilete familia yangu kidogo waenjoy hapa. Tumekuwa paka Malindi, ndio tumekuja hapa kuenjoy. Generally hapa ni mzuri. Security wise nimeona ni kuzuri, tumeenda paka Marine Park. Tumeenjoy, watoto wameenjoy, wamefurahi.
Nimetoka Nairobi na coast ni kupoa.
Most visitors flocking from up country and many of them taking advantage of subsidized prices offered to locals in major hotels, would then constitute the growing domestic tourism product in the coastal circuit, a pointer of things taking the right direction after an hiatus of instability. Most hotels in both the North Coast and South Coast booked almost to full capacity.
Bookings are better than last year. It is very good. I shouldn't be telling you otherwise. Yes, it is mostly December is month of domestic tourism. You know, even it was not only last year, this year or 2 years back. It has been always been like that. It is full of Kenyan people. Yes, 75% of my guests are Kenyans, plus I have people from East Africa.
How to grow numbers and sustain domestic tourism has been a discussion at the center of things for a long time. Stakeholders in the subsector have cited low budgetary allocation and over-reliance on international tourism as some of the drawbacks that have haunted the local tourism.
And it's all about how you plan your months, like Easter holidays, August holidays, and Christmas holidays, and you know, guests, all the guests, they look at value for money and what you give. It is
certain structural adjustments such as product diversification and decentralization of facilities as some of the ideologies mooted as the key to unlock domestic tourism's full potential.
Wale wajafika Mombasa ingeambia wakuja wajienjoy. Unajua hapa ni kama nyumbani, wakuja waone maji mengi, kuna watu wajaona maji mengi, wakuja waenjoy, walambe chumvi kidogo, wasikie mwili iko fresh. Vile mimi niko hivi.
And with an increasingly unpredictable calendar for international arrivals, observers agree that more focus should be directed to domestic tourism to cushion the sector during low periods of international arrivals.
Mombasa yet again coming to life and playing a favorite holiday destination. With a fairly stable security situation, domestic tourism has received a major boost. Francis Ontomwa, KTN News, Mombasa.
They say in Swahili, kuingia Mombasa, harusi kutoka matanga. In the meantime, police along the Nairobi-Nakuru highway today arrested several drivers of private cars and impounded their vehicles for ferrying passengers up country for Christmas. This in a crackdown following a directive issued early this week barring personal cars from indulging in the matatu business. Passengers were required to produce their national identification cards to establish their relationship with the driver.
At the busy Nairobi-Nakuru road, police are at it, demanding those traveling in private vehicles to produce national IDs as proof of their relationship with the driver of the vehicle. This in a crackdown on the use of private cars as public service vehicles, a move most argue interferes with freedom of movement. But according to Traffic Commandant Jacinta Muthoni, it is for the safety and security of everyone.
Fare-paying passengers should only use PSV vehicles and not otherwise. Do not use private vehicles including proboxes, Noahs, Wishes, Citas, and many other vehicles which are not licensed. Any such vehicles found ferrying passengers shall be detained, and we retain these vehicles until the festival is over.
In Naivasha alone, 20 drivers have been arrested. Traffic police in Naivasha have heightened the crackdown and towing any private service vehicles ferrying people. Naivasha Traffic Base Commander Philomena Wambua, who led the crackdown around the area, has warned that it will continue even after the festive period.
Ni mzuri kila mtu aheshimu mwenzake na tusioverlap ndio tusikuje kupata jam, kwa sababu kila mtu ameamua kwenda sikukuu na kila mtu amechukua ngari yake mahali alikuwa ameweka apeleke familia yake sikukuu.
Meanwhile, on the same road, a woman was hit and killed by a speeding bus at Kinungi Trading Center in Naivasha. The woman was crossing the busy highway when she was hit by the bus that was heading to Western Kenya, killing her on the spot.
Mama ambaye kuna watoto wadogo na amekufa na amegongwa tukielekea Christmas. Kwa hivyo tunashindwa ni kwamba ni furaha gani ambayo tutakuwa na area yetu kama Christmas tunakula tukiwa na maiti kwa mochari.
Residents here have expressed their frustrations, saying they have year in, year out appealed to the authorities to erect bumps on the busy road. Zinzi Kibiku, KTN News.
Meanwhile, travelers from Nairobi and those on transit from other parts of the country thronged various bus termini in the city to catch their upcountry transport. Machakos Country Bus and the tea room area in Nairobi were the most crowded, with enthusiastic travelers who had to put up with hiked bus fare if only to make it home in time for Christmas.
Although always busy, it hits an all-time high crescendo at the start of Christmas festivities.
We are at Nairobi's Machakos Country Bus Station, trying to assess how Kenyans are coping with the last-minute rush to travel to the countryside.
Here, passengers heading to regions such as Ukambani and Western Kenya are checking in. And riggers of the journey have not spared even those clad in neat suits.
Nilikuwa nimetoka Mombasa jana kuelekea kwetu kule Kisumu. Lakini kusema kweli saa hii kusafiri si mchezo, maana najua kuna changamoto zingine ambazo huwezi ukatatua kwa sasa.
This woman seems to have taken a beating from the yet to end Christmas journey.
Ile gari nilikuwa nimekata, si hiyo, tumepewa gari ingine. Sasa hiyo tumefika hapa tena wamebadilisha kwa gari ingine, wametuacha hapa.
At Tirum, another key bus terminus for those traveling to Mount Kenya region, the story remains the same. Tales of congestion and hiked fare. This gentleman heading to Meru town laments.
Bei ni kali siku hizi, imetoka 500 mpaka 1200.
We also wanted to establish why Kenyans still insist on traveling up country for Christmas holiday, knowing very well they will face the usual challenges associated with traveling around this time.
Christmas kwetu kuna kuanga na sherehe kubwa. Sasa inanipini niende tuungane na wenzangu.
Ukipata kazi kwa wakati kama December na hii, lazima uende huko nyumbani pia wasalimie wazazi wako, mkae naye pamoja, mshereke pamoja, ndio wao pia wasikie raha, wajue kumbe kweli hivi vijana wetu wanatukumbuka saa zingine.
For now, fare from Nairobi to the countryside has significantly shot up by close to 100%.
Nauli imepanda kidogo, leo watu hawajasafiri sana. Lakini kanjua wanafunga huko barabara, tuendi wanalipisha pesa mingi, tutafanya namna gani?
Saa hizi ni kama 2000 na inakuwa shilingi 700 800. Sijajua watu usafiri ni wengi sana na gari zimekosa.
Nevertheless, some holiday travelers have kept up the spirit of carrying along with them what seems all their earthly belongings.
Pana siku ama inaama. Hapo tu kuna nguo zangu na mzigo zingine pia napeleka huko nyumbani, ambayo naweza kuwapagia wazazi wangu na wale familia ambao wako huko.
Kenyans definitely love their December holidays. Mark Namaswa, KTN Prime.
It is just hours to Christmas. So are you at the moment throwing a Christmas Eve party at home where alcohol is part of the menu? If so, and you're within Uasin Gishu County, then you're in contravention of the laws. That is, if you did not obtain the prerequisite license. KTN's Marcy Kandie with the details.
It's about 9 in the morning at the Uasin Gishu County Court. It's a regular debrief meeting. The director of the County Alcoholic Drinks Control Board takes charge. The rest of the county officers chip in the conversation. It's the festive season associated with lots of partying, well, alcohol. So this meeting's agenda, I'm told, is on how best to curb irresponsible drinking.
We are actually approaching the issue of alcohol and drug abuse from the perspective, actually two-pronged approach. That is supply suppression and demand reduction.
But as everyone goes about last-minute shopping, you should probably consider this regulation by the county.
If you have a party, even in your own home, ensure that you get a license from us. We are issuing temporary licenses for 1,000 shillings per day. Okay, our offices are open throughout the festival. Any party, anywhere that alcohol is being taken, you must get a license from us. Otherwise, we'll come for you. Tutakuja hata kwako.
In the past 4 months alone, the county has collected over 10 million shillings in fines related to drunk and disorderliness.
And on average, each month, we actually realize about 2.7 million shillings from court fines.
It's Christmas season, but for these county officials, it's the same mode of work.
Sasa kazi ya bouncer ni nini?
As your bouncer, these guys are our enforcement officers. These are guys who have the energy and high discipline. Unaona? Hiyo ni mawe. So walevi wakishikwa, unashikwa unainuliwa juu.
All in a day's work.
Watu wa exercise ile inaitwa moderation. Nafikiri hata hiyo issue ya kusema kwamba watu wakuja kuchukua temporary license it may not be possible to visit each and every party. So I don't imagine it's going to work, or else some people will be, infringed and others, left doing their own things.
Nataka ifungwe kabisa kama mtuto alikuwa amesema itufunge hasa kwa vijana.
The money collected is spent on rehabilitation activities. So, as you celebrate the festive season with loved ones at home or any other place, the message here is doing it within the law. As many other offices remain closed for the festive season, the county courts, in particular, the prosecution office, will remain open 24/7. What the County Alcoholic Drinks Control Board says is not for malice, but for the good of yourself and the society. Mercy Kandie, KTN News, at the Uasin Gishu County Court in Eldoret, Uasin Gishu County.
Away from the festivities, with the success of the anti-female genital mutilation campaigns and those fighting early marriages, there comes the much neglected subject of the boy child. As KTN's Sharon Momanyi reports, boys in the Maasai community are the classic example of communities that have received support in promoting their girls, probably at the expense of the boys.
The majestic jump of the Maasai Moran and melodious cultural tunes are just among the community's cultural heritage. The Maasai community has one of the richest cultures in the country, one that has for years been a great heritage in Kenya. But in the midst of this, some retrogressive practices in the community, such as the practice of FGM, has seen many campaigns held, particularly in a bid to promote the girl child. While such campaigns to promote the dignity and prosperity of the girl child continue among the Maasais, there is increasing concern that the boy child in the community is being neglected. It is feared that many young Maasai boys are not getting an education, as many of them are sent out to herd cattle for the pastoral community.
Wengi wako mashuleni.
Dorcas Parit, a children's rights activist in Loitoktok, has been at the forefront in advocating against the practice of FGM. While she appreciates the government's and NGOs' efforts in fighting the menace, she says the development partners need to change tact and be more inclusive to the needs of the boy child.
Tuna kampeni kuhusu vijana kwa sababu hiyo mambo ya vijana iko nyuma sana. Na tuna wengi wenye wako nyuma kwanza kwa disable. Kama disable tuko nao wengi sana.
The girl child in the Maasai community now sings a victorious song, as the campaigns that have been largely aimed at helping the girls has seen up to 50% of girls in the Maasai community access education. However, the boy child has been neglected, many of them not attaining education. Sharon Momanyi, KTN News.
One of his role models is Ben Carson, U.S. presidential aspirant and one of the best neurosurgeons the world has ever seen. On Daring Abroad tonight, meet Joshua Getega, the best student in the 2010 KCPE examinations in the province of Nyanza, now a finalist at Harvard University.
Joshua Getega, in glasses, is one of the lucky Kenyan students to pursue studies at the prestigious Harvard University in Massachusetts State in the USA. Getega is a product of the famous Maranda High School in Bondo. He eventually benefited from the Equity Bank mentorship program.
I'm originally from Nairobi, Kenya, from a place called Dandora. But before living in Dandora, I lived in Kawangware with my family for 19 years. I was the top student in Nyanza province and the third best student in the nation. Neurobiology is a study of particularly the brain and the nervous system. I was drawn towards the science firstly because it's not so popular, especially back home. Neurobiology is an emerging field, especially among college students.
Joshua's father is a taxi driver in Nairobi, while his mother is a shopkeeper in Dandora. Most inspiring is the fact that Joshua has a brother at the same university. Daniel, who is studying electrical engineering, has just joined the university on scholarship, but not through Equity Bank mentorship program like Joshua. The siblings are both old boys of Maranda High School. Daniel was not available at the time of this interview.
I heard a lot about Dr. Benjamin Carson. He's a brain surgeon here in the US, and his story, his life story, resonated closely with my life story. I mean, he came from a very humble beginning, and then he went to Yale University, and then eventually went to medical school and became a brain surgeon.
Although one of Joshua's role models is Ben Carson, Joshua says his dream is to become a leader, yes, like Carson, but as an entrepreneur and not necessarily in neurobiology.
While I have a major in neurobiology, I'm studying so many other classes as well. I've served on different student organizations in different executive boards. In my second year, I was a director of finance for the Harvard Africa Business and Investment Club. And in that position, I was able to organize events focusing on business opportunities in Africa.
Joshua is encouraging the youths to think big and never be scared to dare study abroad.
You know, a lot of people think Harvard is a very difficult place to get into, which is true. I mean, Harvard has about a 5% acceptance rate. But if you think about it, if you believe in yourself, if you have, you're a hardworking student, you should have the opportunity to go to any college in the world, because you believe in yourself, and you have what it takes to succeed there. So you shouldn't listen to the naysayers who tell you cannot do this.
And that's daring abroad.
Thank you for keeping it KTN. Time to catch up with the latest from the business world. My name is Abi Agina. Begin with a story where insurance firm Britam has issued a profit warning, joining a dozen other listed companies, all citing a tough economic year. The firm that has interest in insurance and investments, in an ad in the dailies, says the worth of its shares and bonds fell sharply to result in billions of losses on the company's asset base. The statement reads, and I quote, "The decline in the group's profitability is attributed to the downturn in the economic operating environment." Britam's warning came on the same day as UAP Holdings, one of the biggest insurers that has in the last year been acquired by United Kingdom's Old Mutual. UAP reported that projected net profits will be lower by more than a quarter, basing its forecast on the unaudited results for November. Capital market rules demand that listed firms inform shareholders when the projected profits are expected to fall by more than 25%. UAP and Britam are specifically exposed to movements in the stock markets because they have huge investments in the NSE. A critical policy decision to raise interest rates has depressed the value of bonds because investors tend to shift to newer issues. After the two insurers issued their advisories, a total of 14 listed firms expect a sharp drop in profitability, including the record loss of 29 billion shillings reported by Kenya Airways. Other listed companies that have issued profit warnings since the start of the year include Athi River Cement, Standard Chartered Bank, Uchumi Supermarket, Mumias Sugar, Express Kenya, East African Cables, Standard Group, Atlas Development, Samia Africa, Car and General, and Crown Paints. Of course, a turbulent year for most corporates. And moving on, corruption is neither a new nor a novel phenomenon in Kenya. However, the length and breadth of this scourge has taken new proportions after reports of grand corruption and massive bribery emerged. This time, however, the accused is UK's fifth biggest company, British America Tobacco, and senior officials at the Kenya Revenue Authority. But as Adelaide Changole tells us, the taxman is moving in to secure its name.
It has been the story that has shaken the country this festive season. That of massive bribery and corruption allegation in UK's fifth biggest company, British American Tobacco. And the scandal has dropped in opposition leaders, among them Moses Wetangula, Martha Karua, and former Prime Minister Raila Odinga. And now the scandal has even touched taxman Kenya Revenue Authority. The British Broadcasting Corporation, BBC, in its investigative show Panorama, reported that KRA officials received bribes from BAT to avail confidential tax details belonging to rival cigarette farm Mastermind and to make tax demands on Mastermind in the bid to intimidate and to tarnish the image of the local farm. This has raised concerns, with some pundits accusing the taxman of engaging in unethical behavior. But KRA has distanced itself from the accusations, saying there was no evidence as yet that the purported acts took place.
We have not accepted that what is alleged happened. That is why we want it proven through this investigation. Gentlemen and ladies, an allegation cannot become the truth by allegation, just by the mere fact that it is published or uttered. That's why we have asked for the investigation to be done and done independently. Now, when it is done, then we will come back and then say, the evidence is here.
KRA has also shaken off criticism about using information from BAT to inform tax demands on Mastermind. According to Commissioner General John Geraini, the KRA Act allows the taxman to receive information from a wide swathe of society, from the public, businesses, employees, business associations, and even third parties, so as to uncover unethical practices that could be denying the country its due tax funds.
I cannot confirm that that information came from the competitor. But it wouldn't have mattered even if that information came from the competitor. The point is, it's part of our policy to receive information from third parties, and we use it.
But KRA says the key caveat is that the information it receives must not be used for profit. As such, KRA has contacted the BBC, who have provided contact with Paul Hopkins as they seek information on the alleged bribery incidences, including the identities of those involved. The agency has also tapped the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission, EACC, seeking their involvement in the matter.
Ultimately, our interest is to be able to establish, as I said earlier, whether there is anyone who profited from a legitimate activity. The legitimate activity of us receiving information from a good-spirited person who tells us there is something wrong here, there's something going on wrong here, look at it, make sure that you don't lose revenue. If somebody then profited from that, then we'll deal with that matter.
But Njiraini has, however, called for patience as the EAC and the KRA work to unravel the truth behind the allegations.
So again, we would like to seek your indulgence. Let that process run. The outcomes will come in. If there are people who are culpable, they will be judged when the time comes.
In the meantime, the taxman says it will be revamping its intelligence gathering system and adopting a web-based tool that will allow the public and third parties to share information with the taxman in a confidential and transparent manner.
And we will be, hopefully sometime in February, we will be launching our new intelligence gathering system. And then thereafter we'll be promoting it to the public so that the public can use it, and we see whether it can then help us in addressing issues to do with sealing revenue leakages.
Adelaide Changole, KTN Business.
We'll keep our eyes on how that story continues to pan out. And as the Christmas festivities beckon, it is no longer business as usual in Nairobi CBD. Restaurants remain unusually deserted. KTN's Ashley Mazuri visited a local restaurant and gives us a feel of what's happening. Take a look.
As tourism seems to be on the rebound of the coast, here in Nairobi it's an all too different scene. With majority of Kenyans already preparing for the Christmas festivities, Nairobi seems to be suffering a different fate caused by the departure of its residents. Restaurants around the central business district are ironically less busy than usual.
Generally and relatively, there has been quite a big number of people. But from yesterday, the turnovers are going down since I believe most people have traveled either up country to join their families for the Christmas holiday.
With just a few hours to Christmas, preparations are in top gear.
Today being the Christmas Eve, we have a lot of plans of tomorrow actually. We prepared our staffs for customers. They're coming tomorrow. Expect families and couples to come and enjoy.
According to Wanjoy, who runs a local restaurant in town, it's not all too gloomy. He tells me business is way better compared to last year.
Last year, that's the year we had a lot of challenges in terms of security concerns. And that one really affected us.
And as the rush surges on, for many businesses, the frequent customers may not be around to enjoy the special offers in store for them. And why is this so? I put out the question.
Christmas, we are planning to go home together with the parents. We are going to spend it there at home.
My plans are spending Christmas with my family and part of my friends. I'll be visiting my grandfather's place. It is in Nyahururu. That is where I'm going to be with family and friends too.
With a few hours to Christmas, restaurant staff are ensuring that the last-minute preparations are in line. And despite the fact that most citizens have traveled, they hope for a busy day tomorrow. Ashley Mazuri, KTN Business.
Indeed, many thanks there, Ashley. What are your plans? Well, we want to take a quick look at how the money markets as well as how the stock markets have performed in today's trading. Well, and with the financial report, that's how we wrap up KTN Business for this particular year of 2015. And looking at my watch, just a few more hours to go to Christmas. On behalf of the KTN Business Desk, we do wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Do not wait to invest, but invest and wait. My name is Abi Agina. Let's meet next year. All the best.
Welcome to KTN Sports. As the Christmas festivities hit fever pitch, boxing lovers in the country will be treated to one-of-a-kind boxing bonanza on Christmas Day. Fatma Zarika is expected to face off with Hamisa Kasim, while Kenyan heavyweight champion Maurice Okola battles Tanzanian Benki Mwakalebela.
With the boxing calendar in the country coming to an end, boxing stakeholders are putting together the final showdown of the top boxers in the country and from the East African region to spice up the Christmas season. With this year witnessing fewer competition than expected, the organizers feel this will be the ultimate end of the year boxing event despite the matches being untitled bouts.
Tension yetu na tunasema tena na tena ni kuinua hii boxing hapa Kenya. Hiyo ndio kitu muhimu kabisa, hiyo ndio kitu tunajaribu kufanya. Na atuta give up hata dakika moja.
All the boxers are well prepared, so we expect more fans to come to the event.
In heavyweight category, Kenyan champion Maurice Okola will square it off with Tanzania's Benki Mwakalebela. With the Kenyan champion having a better record against Tanzanian rivals, his opponent, who has lost only 3 times in 19 matches, feels he has what it takes to take down Maurice Okola.
Hili pigano langu la heavyweight, mimi naona niko fresh wala sina hofu yoyote. Mimi naomba tu mashabiki mje kwa wingi, muangalie ninavyomdondosha mtu wenu hapa nyumbani nikiwakilisha Tanzania. Zube sawa atanimaliza mapema, ila na yeye ajiangalia. Akimaliza raundi ya 3 basi ashukuru Mungu.
Kwa kweli nyinyi mnajua Tanzania ni watu wa mdomo. Ikuja ni matendo, ni wa Kenya. Sawa? So watu wakuja waone, si kama kawaida mnatujua, si tunasema na tunatenda.
In the ladies featherweight category, former super bantamweight champion Fatuma Zarika, who had been in the United States for 9 months for training, will be taking on Tanzania's Hamisa Kasim. Zarika is seeking to better her record before she returns to the United States for more training.
Wakenya watatarajia ni ushindi, hakuna kitu kingine. Na kuwaomba wakuje kwa wingi, at least waweze kutusupport. Juu tunarudi tena kwa boxing. Boxing ilikuwa imefifia na saa hizi tena kama tumepata watu wenyewe ambapo wanatusupport, pia na sisi tunashukuru.
I don't know, kwa sababu mchezo ni matokeo, siwezi nikasema naangusha au naanguka. Yote ni makubaliano.
Bouts will take place in Nairobi on Christmas Day from 4 p.m. Robinson Okenye, KTN Sports.
You do not want to miss that. Manchester United manager Louis van Gaal joins a long list of managers who have vented their frustrations in public after he walked out of his Manchester United press conference On Wednesday, United's Dutch boss grew frustrated with speculation about his future and made a swift exit just 4 minutes and 58 seconds into his media address. Take a look.
Has anybody in this room not a feeling to apologize to me? Nobody has that feeling? That's what I'm wondering.
What have we done wrong?
No. I think I was already sacked. I have read. I has been sacked. My colleague was here already. What do you think that happens with my wife or with my kids or with my grandchildren or with the fans of Manchester United or my friends? What do you think? They have called me a lot of times, and also Arsene Wenger is saying something about that. No, I don't think that you can do that, because you have to stick by the facts. And when I get calls of Alec Ferguson and David Gill and Ed Woodward, because you are creating something what is not good, what is not being the facts, and now I have to answer questions. I don't think that I want to do it.
But what are the facts?
I only say now, I am focused on Stoke City. I help my players. I wish you a Merry Christmas and maybe also a Happy New Year when I see you. And enjoy the wine and a mince pie. Goodbye.
As we have reported tonight, the festivities are in top gear, a lot happening. Many people traveling either up country or around the cities. And today, police arrested several drivers and impounded their vehicles for allegedly ferrying passengers up country, and passengers were required to produce their national identity cards to determine their relationship with the driver. And tonight we asked you on the big question, should police demand IDs to confirm relationship of passengers with private car drivers? And a lot of reactions on that. Ngobe Edith says, how can they tell we are not relatives through the IDs? We do not share the names. Kibira Isaac says, next time a cop wants a ride in your car, simply ask him if you are related. And Zach says, asks a question, for a country purporting to decongest the roads, it's strange to criminalize what ostensibly is carpooling. Christopher Kiro says, that's ridiculous. We carpool all the time in Nairobi. Our neighbors and friends are closer to us more than family. Justo Amatili says, ID cards for what? My name is Justo Amatili. My two brothers are Wilson Barasa and Francis Ebichondo. Good point there. Omeri Robin on Twitter says, private vehicle can be borrowed and driver hired. Which law have they broken? Many thanks for participating in our big question tonight.
Drop the rest, get the best. This festive season, buy a DSTV HD fully installed decoder for 5,500 shillings to enjoy the best quality family entertainment with various packages to suit your needs from as low as 1,050 shillings.
And that does it for this edition of KTN Prime. On behalf of everyone here at KTN Prime, we wish you a Merry Christmas. Be safe and be blessed. I'm Ben Kitili. Good night from the KTN News Center.
KTN News. Get the whole story.
Here at Viceroy, we never stop passionately crafting our barrels and maturing our brandy the traditional way. So you can keep on enjoying it.